Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity for me to talk about these trash TMDLs and all the efforts we have made in the past. So I want to take the opportunity to thank all the stakeholders that have contributed all this information first. My name is Eric Wu. I am with the Los Angeles Water Board. As Eric mentioned, that I was the staff of the TMDL unit and then become the unit chief in charge of all these trash TMDLs. I have the honor to participate in the elevator trash and also the other subsequent about 9 or 10 trash TMDL development, and then prepare some comment letter to the work plan to implement all these trash TMDLs. And then I got transferred to the groundwater permitting, dealing with the groundwater issues as well as the septic systems. So that's my new territory. But however, that I still stay connected with all these trash TMDLs and also its implementation. So today, I'd like to talk about all these trash TMDLs and also all the information I receive from the staff at TMDL sections and also from the stakeholders. And just let you know that if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me, or you can hold it until the end of the presentation, whichever you like. And when we're talking about trash, that we always think that this is not going to be a local problem only. It is actually a global situation and global problems. We constantly hear from the news that there are some trash that is floating to California or from the other country or from the other continent across the Pacific Ocean. It's amazing that how urgent we need to take care of this trash problem. So it seems that these are very scary to me, that we didn't know that it was so serious until saw all these pictures. And I always like to mention at the bottom middle picture, there's so much trash accumulating on the beach. This is a photo taken by the reporter at the Los Angeles Times after a major storm event at City of Long Beach. And it does look like the Hollywood movie scenes, but it's the reality that we are facing right now. We have so much trash coming out from our watershed and end up on the beach, accumulating on the beach, on the watershed, in the water that we try to recreate. And I mentioned that so much trash that have impaired the life that we don't see it oftenly on a daily basis. Because there are many wildlife, they rely on the clean water. And sometimes they will think this trash as the food. After they eat it, they got filled with the trash, and they lost the ability to digest or to obtain nutrition they need to survive. So it has caused a lot of damage to their life. And so when you look at all these pictures, you will think that what else we can do to stop it from going from our land areas to ocean. And then we're not only talking about those which that will float on the water, we also talking about those settleable items that become sediment contamination. For example, some medical trash or household trash like diapers end up being the source of bacteria and contaminating the water. And this maps how many trash TMDL we have done so far. There are some trash TMDL we focus on the watershed. From the some of the inspection after the storm, trash in the watershed was away to the beach, lagoon, and ocean. So we're thinking about to resolve all these marine debris problem as well as the trash problems. The TMDL may be the most useful way to deal with it. And where is that we start with the watershed approach. Some reaches there has been listed in a 303D. We target on these areas first. So starting early 2000, we had a very first trash TMDL developed. That was for the San Gabriel River East Fork. Is that since it was such an early stage to develop TMDL, regardless of this is only for trash or for the other constituents, actually has we start with no format of TMDLs. So the primary area we try to regulate for the San Gabriel River East Fork is no Forest Service area, and most of these trash are coming from the non-point sources. So that we only require the BMPs that National Forest Service would have to take at a time. But subsequently, in year 2001, together with the Ballona Creek and Wetland watershed, we also developed trash TMDL for Los Angeles River, and that became the most controversial TMDL we ever developed because it comes with a very innovative numeric target of zero trash, and we will be talking about it. And then after the LA River trash TMDL and Ballona Creek trash TMDL, we continue to work on the other trash TMDLs. In year 2008, we started to develop 5 major trash TMDLs that include the Machado Lake, Revlon Stew, and Bearsley Wash, Ventura River Estuary, and Lake Elizabeth, Mons Lake, and Lake Hughes, and Lake. And that LA River got into the issues, it was set aside in year 2003. So in year 2007, we bring it to the board again for it to be readopted and maintain the effectiveness of the LA River trash TMDL. And later on, subsequently, we also developed a trash TMDL for Malibu Creek watershed, and the most sounding one that is the one that got adopted in year 2009. That is the Santa Monica Bay nearshore and offshore marine debris. And that will be slightly different. We'll be talking about the differences of the definition of marine debris versus trash. And the differences of those trash TMDL developed after year 2007 versus the trash TMDL they were developed prior to year 2005 is that in the past, in those old TMDLs, we only address the point sources issues. But starting year 2007, we incorporate both point sources requirement as well as the requirement to the non-point sources areas, and we develop a mechanism to deal with determination of the compliance to for the discharge from those non-point sources area. So going back the definition of the water quality objective, why the zero trash becomes so controversial? Because that there's no numerical target defined in our Basin Plan. What we have in our Basin Plan is that we are asking the water to be free from the floating materials, including the solids, liquids, foams, and scum, in a concentration that will cause the impact to the beneficial uses. And absolutely, there's no suspend or sellable materials in also cause the impact to the beneficial uses. So from this, how do we determine the best number to describe this Basin Plan requirement? So we were thinking about, well, whether the trash should be the 5 pieces of trash, 10 pieces, 100 pieces, and we also based on the characteristics of the trash, how long it takes for this trash to be assimilated. We found out that there's no better number than 0 to describe or match with the Basin Plan requirement. Regardless if it is 5 pieces of trash or 100 pieces of trash, it is not the same as saying that the water does not contain the floating materials. None of these numbers will be consistent with these Basin Plan requirements. So that's how we come to the point to determine that the numeric target for the trash should be 0. 0 trash TMDLs. And of course, a lot of people, the first time they heard about 0 trash eddy water, they think it's mission impossible for all the dischargers, and it will be very difficult for us to determine the compliance. All the claims are sort of accurate. But of course, when we are considering the numeric target of 0 trash, we need to define what they are. So what we are thinking about this 0 trash to start with, we are considering the other regulation or ordinance that we have. So we found out that the 0 trash is actually consistent with the laws, and even a lot of municipal codes that which require there's no littering should be tolerated. So the trash should be consistent with all the littering laws, all the municipal or. So we think that 0 trash will be the best number to describe it. And however, as I mentioned earlier, that Los Angeles River was brought to the court for multiple aspects, including the numeric target of 0 trash. So after the court, after the discussion, the appeals actually support the 0 trash the zero trash as the numeric target for all these trash TMDLs. So from the cases of Los Angeles River trash TMDL, we understand that this will be the most appropriate numeric target for the trash TMDLs. So first, the meaning of the zero trash. What point source is zero trash means there's no trash being discharged from the storm drains or types of conveyances. The responsible jurisdictions can follow the implementation schedules to reduce the certain amount of trash going into the water body by structural or non-structural BMPs. We'll be talking about all these BMPs, how we further define the zero trash discharge. So for the non-point sources, it's a lot different from just determining there's no discharge or not from the sources area. So the definition comes that there's no trash in the water body or shorelines immediately after each cleanup event, and the trash is not accumulating in various amounts on the water body and shorelines between them. So, for example, the municipalities, they will be deemed in compliance if the trash in the non-point source area or in the water body are cleaned up frequently enough not to cause the nuisance or adversely impact to the beneficial uses. Picture that I would like to show it to you that for some points there's a lot of discussion we had before is only about the storm drains only or any other conveyances. The Basin Clean Water Act that we are required to consider all the conveyances of stormwater as the point sources. So in the picture showing this doesn't look like this is the stormwater, the so-called stormwater treatment in the MS4 system, but is considered conveyance. So the trash coming out from the conveyance was still under trash TMDLs regulation. Nevertheless, on the right-hand side, you will see this picture with a lot of even trash being littered on the park areas, even though it could be an accident, but it still causes a nuisance. The full capture system. We're talking about to regulate the point sources by regulating the discharge from the point sources area. So we were talking about that. The regulated point sources for the discharger or for the municipality to be in compliance, they can use several different ways, including utilizing a full capture system or the structural or non-structural BMPs, or they can use the institutional control. So how do we play out to determine what is the full capture system or not? On Regional Board's website, there is a page talking about how to apply the certification from the Regional Board to certify a certain device to be the full capture system. What is that? The full capture system should be able to trap the particles or in trash greater than 5 millimeters, and they will be able to handle the storm 1 year. Well, they don't need to trap trash with a storm greater than 1 year 1 hour storm. So 5 millimeters. You really think about this. That 5 millimeter is very small. It's about quarter inches. And the reason that we come up with this 5 millimeter screening criteria is because of the cigarette butts, because it is small and the cigarette butt has been found in water body a lot. It was one of the most commonly found trash in the body, in the lakes, in the recreational area, in the ocean. So we are important to exclude the possible discharge of the cigarette butts from the urbanized area. The full capture system, the municipality can also use the partial capture system as long as they can demonstrate that they exclude an amount of trash from the sources area. And so we have already five agencies or 5 full capture systems being certified by the executive officer of our regional board. And let me try to show you those pictures. Starting in 2000, the Signal Hills, together with the County of Los Angeles, Department of Public Works has explored many different feasibility to install the net at Hamilton Bowl. And Hamilton is also a flood control plant. It was later certified as the full capture device. In year 2004, Department of Transportation or Caltrans they submit several designs. Then we'll have a picture for you later. Those designs are called gross solid removal devices in 2005. And then later on, the city of Burbank, Glendale, La Cuneta, Flint Ridge, and Pasadena, they further test many different tries to determine which device will be most effective to consider as a full system as well as being very economic effective too. And all these certifications were posted in a reasonable website for their application and also for the certification issuance. Besides these cities, the city of Los Angeles and county of Los Angeles also propose different design. Once this device is certified as a full capture system, the same device can also be used for different applications. But the difference is that these capture systems are actually for the watershed specific or location specific device because we need to calculate the flow, the possible flow from the desert area that we install this full capture system for. So when you adapt this full capture system for different locations, then you need to provide monitoring and implementation of how well these full capture system also functions for different locations in order to fulfill the need for that area to be in compliance. That I'm showing you from the Caltrans information. The gross solid removal device, or called GSRD, they were initiated in the study in study along freeway by Caltrans to remove trash in the highway drainage system. Were initially to be installed in year 2000. Up to the of these effectiveness of this device still continue. There are three designs developed: linear radios, the line screen, and the baffle box. The last two features, let me point it to you. These features over here, they are considered to be the linear radios. Uses the structure similar to a well casing with an opening less than 5 millimeters as a screen, which is the definition of the full capture system. And so the water will flow inside the mesh screen, then the opening to the chambers and continue to be discharged. Or this linear radio can be a nylon mesh bag. There's a go back to the top picture here too. Now it could be a nylon bag also inside the casing to stop the trash before they go out from these openings of the casing. And it could be only just a bag, just like a bottom picture showing you that the trash got trapped in here. But the possibility is that it could cause some cooking issues here. The top right is an example of the inclined screen. How it works is that the water will flow over the weir here, and there's a screen right underneath this weir, and it get trapped here, and the water will continue to go on to be discharged. Or baffle box at the bottom, the right hand bottom, the water is outfall left hand side here, and the water come out here, and it will be trapped by all these screens, and that will go through the screen and then continue to be discharged to the storm drain system. And these are designed by the other cities. As I mentioned, the city of Los Angeles and the city of Glendale, Burbank, and La Cuneta, Flint region, Pasadena, they were using multiple methods to determine what's most effective to be qualified as the full capture system. So it is that there are multiple trial of the screens. On the right-hand side over on the slide, you can see there's the coarse excluder, or it's a screen with bigger openings that bar up those larger pieces of trash to be definitely for the street cleaning to pick up. And within this catch basins, you can see that there's also a horizontal screens here. The opening for these horizontal screens are less than 5 millimeters. So therefore, a lot of vegetational waste and also smaller piece of trash can be trapped within the catch basin. But looking at this, that you can imagine that when there's a flood, and it is always a major concern of the municipality, that when there's major storm coming into it, and then it will, with accumulation of the trash inside the catch basin, it may cause a flooding issue. So for this, it seems to have a higher likelihood for the water to be, for this screen to be clogged, and water will accumulate in the catch basin. So therefore, City of Los Angeles further utilize the same concept, but design a vertical system here. On your left side, on the top, the picture to this is the screen is also installed inside a catch basin. What it works is that there's a screen. There is also the big excluder, just like this one on your right hand side, installed in front of the catch basin entrance. So when water going into it with the smaller pieces of trash, they got settled into the catch basin, and will go through the screen right here. But when there's a storm, when there's a flooding issue coming to the local areas, then when the water starts to accumulate up to a certain height, it will overflow into the openings on the top of the screen, which would allow the flooding concern to be released. And of your left-hand side, this is one of the trials that the city of La Cañada, French, Burbank, and Pasadena has proposed and monitored the effectiveness before. They use just like a broom. They use these broom system to be the excluder at the entrance of the catch basin, bar out those larger pieces of trash. And they actually also try to put this broom to be upside down to see maybe it will be more effective, and found out that the iron system here with when the water coming into this iron gate, they can push it open, still the most effective, and cause less problems too. The picture shows the vortex system. By our definition, when any municipality they determine to install the vortex system, or we call it vortex separation system, or a continuous deflective device, then they are considered to have installed a full capture system. The way it works is that the water will come from the inlet and go into this big chamber with almost like a whirlpool. So the water will go around it, and then the trash will go to the center and drop to the bottom basket, and water got screened out, and then continue their journey to be discharged. The point source, how we manage the point sources. All these devices has been installed throughout the county of Los Angeles with many cities, and you are working on the city of Los Angeles, you start to see a lot of catch basins. They're equipped with the iron gate, and it does keep the trash. It does prevent the trash from being going into the catch basin and going with our storm drain system to the ocean. A lot. I will have the data to show effective they are. So non-point source. The regional board staff actually has tried to develop something to deal with non-point source, and we come up with the idea of this minimum frequency of assessment and collection, and we call it a program of this MFAC in conjunction with the best management practices. So based on the current practice of the responsible parties and the impairment condition, the parties are required to clean up the water body, the shorelines, and adjacent areas where are considered as non-point sources as frequency, and critical conditions such as storms, wind advisory, or high visitation period. So the order collection means to remove 100% of the trash from these locations. Therefore, immediately after each cleanup event, the water would attain the numeric target zero trash. So the parties are also required to provide the assessment on the effectiveness of the cleaning frequency and the efforts. If the trash problem continues or the trash collected does not show the decreasing trend, then the responsible party would have to either increase the frequency of cleaning on the water body or the shorelines, or they need to implement additional BMPs, or they can do both to achieve the goals more effectively. Cleaning frequencies, the cleaning, the human resources needed, the method measuring the collected trash quantity, or the disposal and monitoring of the effectiveness should also be proposed by the responsible party in their trash monitoring reporting plan for our EO's approval. Then we view it to see whether it is right, the frequency is appropriate. Then we will, based on the report, to determine whether this higher frequency is needed or not. So that our executive officer will maintain authority to revise the frequency. So if the data reported to us showing that the trash is not, the party is achieving the required goals, then we'll go back to discuss about other possible way to allow them to be in compliance by implementing more BMPs. And how do we do that evaluation? In year two water board staff, we try to in the region two, I believe, in San Francisco region, they have developed a trash assessment as part of the Surface Water Ambient Monitoring Program, or SWAMP. This generates site-specific scores, or a scale from 0 to 120 with higher scores indicating the cleaner sites. This method also documents number of pieces of trash within a range of 100 linear feet of streams or shorelines, and the trash returned. So this can be used to identify the problem area where the trash accumulates due to littering, dumping, or upstream sources, and to evaluate the effectiveness of the mitigation measures. This is a visual survey of the water body. It requires documentation on these parameters. It includes the trash, the actual number of trash items found, and also the threat to different aspects. And important is about illegal dumping. On this picture, you can see that this picture was taken in the county of Ventura. That one of the agricultural drain, there was a mattress found, and there's actually a lot more trash along this drain area. So level of trash and actual number of trash are to quantify trash in the water body. So trash is at a glance how many pieces of trash are observed versus the actual number of trash within 100 feet of reach. So the optimal is maybe different level too. There it was divided into the optimal and suboptimal and marginal and poor. Optimal says maybe 15 to 20 pieces of trash, or excuse me, the score of optimal is from 15 to 20. So it means that there's no trash or less than 10 pieces of trash were found at a glance. So with suboptimal, giving the score of 11 to 15, and it may have the trash less than 50 pieces but greater than 10 pieces. The mark means that when you found more than 51 pieces of trash to 100 pieces of trash, then of course, if there's more than 100 pieces of trash, then it's certainly a very poor condition for level of trash. The aquatic life and human health estimate the actual threat to water body actually. If trash found in the reach are mostly biodegradable, just paper or wood, or the trash does not contain bacteria, virus, or the medical or the diaper that would cause health concerns, the condition can be optimal. The subdivision is that when no transportable, no bacteria sources, but desertion hazards. The laboratory parameters represent the sources of trash from on-site activities or from upstreams. The optimum, which has a score 10, means that no evidence of illegal dumping or the incidental littering is 5 pieces. The suboptimal, which gives a score from 6, 7, or 8, some evidences of the littering, but still less than 10 pieces. If we come to marginal or poor, then there are these some furnitures or appliances or shopping carts in the river or in the stream. One of the consultants has actually used this method at a Stu and a Bearsley Wash in the Cayugas Creek watershed to identify trash sources and studied the effectiveness of removing trash by using MFAC program. The result indicates that the rapid trash assessment is a useful tool to identify sources while measuring the trash types and the quantity, and demonstrate MFAC can reduce trash in the water body in the magnitude of about 90%. And we also have more picture for you later on to show that not only it has been used for the Cayugas watershed, it has been used by all different cities, some combination of the high-tech device. So about MFAC, we talked about that. What can we do with it? It depends on the different water body we're talking about. When we are about a park, we are asking the park to be cleaned up. And based on our understanding, because the high use of the park in Los Angeles areas, the Department of Rec and Park already provided cleanup on a 5-day basis. So our asking is that they would need to measure the trash accumulating in a weekend, and they provide additional cleanup if they identify there are a collection of additional trash being discovered or identified anywhere in the park. What they can do is they send out a staff to clean the trash, empty the trash cans, and then they place some trash cans right next to the picnic benches. What we found in the past during the inspection is that there are many tables for the picnic, for the barbecues in the park, but not every single barbecue area has enough trash cans. So one of the solutions could be as easy as placing more trash cans next to the trash generation areas. The other example is that when we inspect the beach, there are so many trash cans are actually open not only to the public but also to the wildlife. So the seagull would go to stand next to the trash cans, pick up trash out of the trash can, and then after they enjoy their food there, they just lay there. Of course, they are not going to put the trash back to the trash can. So the solution is to add a lid to it. So all these are the possible BMPs, and not even mention that for the lake, we have so many parks with lakes, and to reduce, eliminate the trash on the lakes, we actually ask the Department of Park and Rec to get a boat to ski the lake at a frequency that would not detect as many trash as possible. That is all the BMPs. So on this picture, we are seeing is that the city of Oakland, they use the high tech, they use the GPS device as this gentleman is holding in his hand. And for the gentleman here, he actually picked up some trash from the drain. So this gentleman on the right hand side, he is actually documenting how many pieces in what category that he has. So in the report submitted by the city of Oxnard, they document how many pieces of the cigarette butts, the styrofoam food containers, or any plastic bag, any other the trash they have found in the water body, so they can classify that which one is a more serious problem and try to identify the possible sources cause this trash to end up in the storm drain or in the drains. And the good thing of using GPS is that it provides the automatic identification of the location, so they can, when they move from the location to location, they can make a proper comparison about what trash will get trapped at certain locations. So for all this, we actually gave the implementation schedule for them to be in compliance. The points waste allegation will include the enforcement through will include in the MS4 permit or by any other permit that that has something to do with the storm drain discharges or any possible discharge to the river. So for those which they are not MS4 permittee, the responsibility will be issued with a 13267 letter to request them to provide a report to understand how they deal with the trash problems. Then with low allocation may be determined by the data collected while the implementing the monitoring reporting plan. So including the year needed for the studies and the 5 years, which each require 20% reduction of the trash discharged from the point sources. The regional board is expecting the water body to reach the zero trash from point sources areas in about 8 years. So jurisdiction or responsible party can also derive their own low allocation for non-point sources area. Once approved, the FAC minimum frequency of assessment and collection program is implemented, the party will need to demonstrate that the trash does not accumulate in a deleterious amount or cause the adverse impact to the beneficial uses. To come with non-point source trash reduction requirement, the regulatory value include the conditional waivers or the cleanup and payment orders. So far, to accommodate the non-source management, we already have one waiver in place that is actually for the agricultural waivers. So within this waiver, what they need to do is that they need to they need to measure trash coming out from the non-point sources area. So if we do not detect the decreased trend of the trash being collected between the clean event, then the discharger, they are yet in immediate compliance. What they need to do is they need to go back to determine any other they can apply, or they can increase their frequency to clean up those locations. Then they will remain in compliance. Trash TMDLs. The new thing, the new toy we have is to develop this Santa Monica Bay marine debris. So marine debris is something slightly different from the trash TMDLs. The reason why we call it differently from the trash TMDL versus the marine debris TMDLs. So when we look at the 303D list, we found out that there are records showing that there are more than trash in the Santa Monica Bay. There are also plastic pellets, and also with all the literature we have reviewed in the past, we have seen so many pictures that has the fish being dissected with the plastic pellet in their stomach. So therefore, what we will be asking ourselves that other than regulating the trash, should also regulate the plastic pellets. So Basin Plan, the narrow objective that is applicable to both is actually applicable to both trash and plastic pellets. It says that floating particulate and the grease and oil should not be visible. So besides, we have AB 258, which was assigned into the law in year 2007. It has been added California Water Code Section 3367, Chapter 5.2. This is called Pre-Production Plastic Debris Program, and it requires the regional boards to implement a program to control the discharges of pre-production plastic pellets from point and non-point sources. Details. The program manufacturing, handling, and the transportation facility to implement BMPs to count the discharge, which may include devices of the appropriate containment systems or sealed containers, or even use of cat device or vacuum systems. To be consistent with the zero trash policy, the numeric for the plastic pellet is also 0. And zero plastic pellet in Santa Monica is defined by controlling the discharges from the industrial facilities, including those which import, manufacture, process, or transport, store or recycle facilities, or any other way they handle the plastic pellets. The one joke I heard from the stakeholder when I was asked them that when we review the SIC code and anything that related to plastic, they are under this Santa Monica Bay Marine Debris TMDL, or even any business that have a plastic their names. So when the stakeholder working with me, what about the plastic surgery? and of course, part of this TMDL that we can regulate. So most of California has undergone the daily cleanup. Such cleanup actions occur in the early morning when there are less crowds on the beach. To the effectiveness of the BMP imposed on beaches, the relevant parties are also required to conduct an even assessment on a monthly basis. The do so is that since we already have their practice to clean up to remove the trash from beach in the morning, so at times we would like to know how effective they're how effective the BMP they have imposed to clean up the beaches. You usually will see that there are a lot of promotion of do not litter the beach or no barbecue, no smoking on the beaches. But all the BMPs, how effective they are, we need to measure them in order to determine whether there is additional work needed to improve the beach water quality. So to conduct this is to since we know they clean up the beach in the morning, so after the whole day event of the beach activities in the evening, we'll be able to the responsible have to find out a day of the month to determine or to collect the trash to analyze the quantity and the classification of the trash to understand what else they can do to improve the water quality. For municipalities are also divided into three different groups. The first group is those which have the industrial facility relating to the plastic pellets. These municipalities they are required to conduct the inspections and also enforce their stormwater pollution prevention program, address the possible spills. The group they are those cities that has no industrial facilities, but they are still required to submit a plastic pellets. Submit the plastic pellet monitoring reporting plan. There are some cities in the Los Angeles which has only residential area. They are gated. They have minor traffic, so they could be exempt from these requirements. But how they need to provide their zoning code, they need to provide for their information for our EO to approve that they are exempt from this requirement. What does it take for them to be in compliance? It also to be consistent with the trash TLs. It will take them 8 years for the for point sources and same for 5 years for non-point sources. But in this most recent TMDL, their interesting part is that we are allowing the 3-year extension to be considered if the city adopts or pass some certain ordinances to ban the most commonly found trash. In this case, if they ban the single-use plastic bags, the smoking in the public places, or the single-use expanded polystyrene food packagings, then we'll consider to give them 3-year extension. All ordinances they need to be adopted within 5 years from the effective of this Monica Bay Marine Debris TMDL. So in many cities, including the city of Malibu, city of Beach, they have passed ordinance too, and also the county of Los Angeles for the incorporated area of the county, they already have banned the single-use plastic bags in these areas. With the Supreme Court in July of this year, they upheld the same ban for the city of Manhattan Beach. Bans also include the smoking bans to avoid disposing of cigarette butts in the city of the Santa Monica, Malibu, for example, and the use of the styrene as food packages. So, to give a snapshot of where we are at for the Los Angeles River Trash TMDLs, based on our evaluation, the Los Angeles River Trash TMDL was, after it was adopted again in year 2007, and it was actually incorporated into the MS4 permit in year 2009 for it to become enforceable. So the baseline at the time is to have 2,719 tons per year for watershed. The requirement reduced 50% by October 2010. How many responsible jurisdictions we have within the Los Angeles River watershed? That's 43. A lot of them actually have started and initiated their efforts to install a full capture system, just like the city of Pasadena, Burbank, Glendale and Canal Frontage, as well as City of Los Angeles and County of Los Angeles, they already installed so many devices. So even though the El River Trash TMDL was set aside back then, but they still continue the efforts. And based on a report, we have 5 cities that actually have exceeded 50%, and the other cities, they've been doing besides doing the full capture system, they can also do the partial capture system. There are 8 cities doing the partial capture system. So by reviewing the number, there are about 1,313 tons per year of the trash were excluded by the 10 cities doing the full capture system, and have 105 tons per year of the trash being reduced by using the partial capture system. So all we achieve about 52%. But as you can see, with 10 cities, but we have 43 municipalities here. We have a lot of cities, they are not doing what they are supposed to be doing in order for them to be in compliance, and we are evaluating the possibility to work with them. And this, I think, that will conclude my quick presentation. Oh, I also like to, the very last, I want to show this picture to you. This picture was provided by the Sea Turtle Restoration Project, and I think this picture says 1,000 words for us that how important our mission is, and can do better to prevent the trash going into the ocean. Otherwise, everybody suffer. We look at the water body. The thing we like to enjoy about all this water is to use them for recreational purposes. But looking at all this wildlife, they actually call this place home. And all the trash, all the carelessness of disposal by humans end up causing life is so unfair. So I think that with all these trash TMDLs, we can make some changes. We are hoping that we can promote this idea to the global-wide environmental communities, let them know how important it is to continue our efforts with the trash TMDL. And that will be all about my presentation. Thank you.
I'd like you to submit your questions to Eric. You can do that via the chat box, or you can unmute your phone, hitting *6, and ask them directly. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Well, I guess angry then.
Well, shy.
Okay, well, you can, from the last slide, you find my email address here. You come to send any information to me, or you can ask me a question via email. I'll be glad to send this back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
The question was sent in from chat.
Okay.
Okay. This implement trash TMDL on a per capita basis.
Mm-hmm. Are we looking at the question by okay?
Chat box. Oh, he sent it to me.
Okay. Let me answer the first question first. I see the question from Kate about a responsible party. The contribute is the responsible party means the contributor or the receiving entity. Well, the responsible party is the contributor who has a land area contributing the possible charge of trash to the water bodies. So point sources, if you are within a watershed, as if you already have a storm drain system within your jurisdictional area, and storm drain system will collect the trash and distribute to a certain water body, say to the Los Angeles River, then you are responsible for the trash in Los Angeles River. So therefore, you will be identified, or the municipality will be identified as the responsible party, or we can call it responsible jurisdiction for point source trash. Besides, if you are right adjacent to the water body, point sources area that was still going to the locations, then you are still responsible for it. So for take the regional park or a park as an example. If park management agency for that specific location, then you will be responsible for the non-point sources. But if you also have the storm drain system under your management, then you are both responsible for the point and non-point sources. So they are contributors. They are not only the receiving entity. So we hear the question about this. One of the comments from City of Long Beach is that they were the one at the mouth of the Los Angeles River to Santa Monica Bay and Pacific Ocean, but they end up getting most trash coming out from all the upstream cities. So that's why we think all these contributors need to do due diligence to deal with the trash problem. I have another question about the cost of the trash TMDL. Well, at the very beginning, we felt it was very expensive to install the Vortex system because it takes a lot of effort to dig a hole in the ground to reroute all this water going through a system and testing it and coming out. But I had during the time that those four cities I'm talking about, city of Glendale, Burbank, La Canela, Ridge, and Pasadena. When they're testing it, they give us a number. That was the number back about 5 years ago, almost. That it cost about maybe $1,200 a piece to retrofit the catch basin with the scooters, with a screen inside the catch basin. And more recently, with the city of Los Angeles, they developed the vertical screen system installed in the catch basin. I think the price has come down to about $800 per piece per catch basin to install this retrofit. But of course, this $800 figure does not include the maintenance for the system, because we did go with the crew to observe their maintenance. Some of the catch basin, they are required to be cleaned up 3 times a year, or some of them are required once during the wet season, once during the dry season, or once before the major storm. And in the more rural areas, they were only required to be cleaned up once per year. So it really depends on the location of all these catch basins.
Do we have a question in the chat?
Yeah, this is Tim Marsh. I actually work for Fort Irwin. I'd like to ask a question.
Sure.
I'm not a scientist like you guys. I'm more of a marketing, environmental person. But what do you do to educate the public other than the white and blue signs painted on the curbs about don't dump your trash as it drains to the ocean? I mean, do you put things like in people's, let's say, cable TV bills, or maybe their water bills, or even their trash bills about what we've been talking about the last hour? Just the word out to the public is what I'm curious about.
Well, it's a very good question and suggestion too. That as you can see there, when you if you are in the Los Angeles freeway system, so there's usually you will see those child adoption signs.
Right.
Sometimes you will see that do not trash California.
Okay.
That was the campaign by the Caltrans that we required them to do. So for Caltrans, they already put out a lot of radio promotions about do not throw the trash to your storm drain system, because they end up in your beach or in any rivers that you may try to enjoy them. And that was one of them. And the other was County of Los Angeles. They have the campaign of quarter, or I cannot remember the name exactly, but they did go out to talk about this. And other than the county and the Caltrans, the cities, they actually have hosted many community meetings talking about trash TMDLs. And I was invited of this event to talk about what we can do with a lot more pictures, of course, to show them what we can do to minimize the trash going into the storm drain system. So I think that to a certain degree, as we require all these cities to be inclined, we encourage them to do the campaign. And all these BMP are credit to their efforts.
I know your focus is mostly Los Angeles, at least this discussion, but I can tell you I frequently go to the beaches in Orange County, usually Huntington Beach. I was there last Sunday, in fact, and they have a number of the old-fashioned aluminum trash cans all over the beach, but none of them are covered, so therefore the seagulls and the wind can carry the debris into the ocean and other places. So I think Orange County needs to be invited into how they can better protect their waters, too. So
I would love to. If you let me where I can share information with them, I'll be glad to.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciated this. I'll look forward to other ones in the future. Have a good day.
This is Eric Burris. To follow up on that, the State Water Resources Control Board has outreach materials available to anyone.
Okay.
It's the Erase the Waste program, and you can use those and brand yourself. You can put your city seals on and use them as you like.
Okay, I'll look forward to that. Thank you, sir. All right.
And we have citizen monitors that have been busy. They're in Huntington, and I would want to take a look at the 3D list when it gets adopted. We may have some listings in Orange County.
Excellent. 2 days.
Well, let me add one more thing is that the state is currently in the process to develop the statewide trash policy. I think it will be it can maybe use instead of for every single region to develop the trash TMDL. Once this policy is adopted, and all the permit to require these dischargers to comply with your trash. So I hope that will become a more stronger incentive or stronger regulation for all these municipalities to follow too.
Thank you. Another question in chat. I'll give you it.
Marisa curious about that whether there's any whether there's any possible reduction in other pollutants of concern, such as bacteria, due to the decrease in trash discharge to waterways. Well, unfortunately, the data showing that effective it also served to reduce the bacteria on the beach. Now make this connection, but I think that's a very good question. I will bring this to our management to think about the possibility of installing this, the likelihood of installing this device to reduce the bacteria problems too. But fortunately, we don't have answers for it.
Okay, we have a question via chat.
Yes. Second device. Very good question about the measure these numbers. Whether from they are the number from the measurement of the trash tonnages, or they are actually measured by the full capture system installed. At this point, we measure the compliance by the full capture system installed within the jurisdictional area of individual cities. So the city who has installed a full capture system, how we determine their compliance is that if the full capture system covers certain areas, then the area is considered to be in compliance. So calculation number 52% is actually based on the area that is installed with full capture system. But for those cities who install partial capture system, their measurement is slightly different. What they are required to do is that they are required to measure trash going into a specific catch basins. So from the baseline, we assume that there are so much trash will be going into the catch basin, but because the implementation of BMPs or the implement of the street cleaning or any other measures they have imposed for this area, there are only so much of trash end up in the catch basin, and these are the trash amount going into the storm drain. So therefore, they are measuring. For those cities who use the partial capture system, they actually measure the trash being left in the catch basin to determine how much of trash has been abated. So we measure their compliances. So there's different approaches for the full capture system versus partial capture system or institutional controls. Question?
Aaron, how you did some analysis of trash generation via land use?
When we're developing this trash TMDL, we identified that for different land use, there are different concerns. For example, in the highly urbanized area and a lot of commercial areas, such as downtown Los Angeles, we have so much trash that is on streets, and so we actually try to differentiate all these different land use to assign with different baseline wastewater allocations. But now it become very complicated. So right now the decision is we still lump together the commercial, industrial, all these urbanized area with the same baseline wastewater allocations. But when we are doing the trash TMDL for different areas, such as in the Ventura County area, of course, baseline will be different from the baseline in Los Angeles. So we have incorporated the different consideration when we review the trash situation in advance before we come to the conclusion to find a wastewater allocation